everybody, my name is Buzz. They call me Wannabe. We are going to have an LTD by ESP M Shootout between the M Black Metal and the M1001. Let's see what happens. So you've been working corporate all your life, and your company finally gets ahead a little bit, and they make a couple of bucks, and they say, hey, thanks for playing. Here's a nice little holiday Christmas bonus, and they give you a couple of bucks. You got $1,000, give or take, and you're like, I want to get my dream guitar. Ever since 1992, I've wanted an ESP M series, or maybe late 80s. I want an ESP M series. Now you got the money. Now you're going to do it. You can go get a real ESP M and spend $1 billion, or you can get into the LTD market, which is every bit as good a guitar as the M's that I've played from the late 80s and early 90s. Which one do you get? Do you get the black metal, or do you get the M1001? I was going to do a three-way shootout with the 1987 reissues. However, the 1987 reissues do not have stainless steel frets. That completely throws them out of the argument. In my opinion, it's not a long-term guitar. I want this thing to last 20, 30 years. I want to give it to my grandkids that I don't have, or my kids that I don't have. So, we're going to do a quick shootout. We're going to do measurements of the neck. This is a thin, I don't even know what they call it, but this is a pretty thin neck. This is ultra thin. We're going to do measurements because the M1001 is a nice C shape, but it's a thin C. They call it an ultra thin C. This, although it's not a D, it's a little thicker at the corners. So you measure it in the middle, it's pretty close to this one, but at the corners, it's a little bit beefier, just adding a little bit more strength at the corners of the neck. Both are a three-piece maple neck. This is a three-piece bolt-on. This is a three-piece neck through. I took the other one of this, I sanded it down completely. It goes from C to shining C. It is a three-piece maple neck through guitar with alder wings. This has an alder bolt-on body. They are very similar. Both have matte paint. This is matte on black. That's matte on kind of a gray, ghost gray, I don't remember what they call it. Both have Floyd 1000s, which again is a really good Floyd. That one has the Fishman pickup. This one has the Black Winter by Seymour Duncan. We're going to do a quick sound bite of those. The only other difference is this one has lumen lay dots, that one doesn't. This one is all bound on the neck, which looks sexy and nice, a little bit more like the ESPs of that era. This is just black. Even the LTD up here is a raised letter black. But if you want something fancy that looks nice, you like the gold, great. This may be your guitar. This is a wonderful guitar. We're just going to have a shootout on which one is better. This one being $13.99 from ESP, this one being $1,090 from ESP. This has been discontinued, but these are all over the place. Everybody from, oh, by the way, this is not brought to you by Sweetwater. This is the only YouTube video that's going to come out that has musical instruments in it this week that is not brought to you by Sweetwater. This is not brought to you by anything. I buy these with my own money, and I hope that PayPal will actually send them to my real address. The big three differences is what I call handshake. What I do with a brand new guitar is I slide until I stop, and then I tap my ring finger. And what fret do I tap my ring finger on? That tells me, A, how far I can go up before I'm hitting something that stops. This I get to 24th fret with my ring finger. This I get to the 21st fret. I'm going to show you the bolt-on differences and show you the measurements. We're going to do measurements in a couple of different ways. Because this has a little bit more of a D side, we're going to measure dead center. We're going to measure between the first and second string and the fifth and sixth string to see if it's asymmetrical neck, which neither of these are asymmetrical. So we're going to measure right bumping the first fret, right bumping the 12th fret, and right bumping the 17th fret. Normally I go to 18th, but the body gets in the way, and I don't want to jump up and try to measure on the body because that's not fair. This is a 350 millimeter Radius, nice and flat, great for metal playing, great for shredding, great for your 6-string metal stuff and classic rock, classic metal. This has a 300 to 400. They call it a compound radius. That's actually not technically correct, but that's what the guitar world is using as their terminology. It should be a conical radius, but it has a 300 to 400. Now, my measuring devices didn't show exactly that, so I think my sanding was a little bit off from the factory, but again, it was close enough to say it was designed that way. 300 to 400, this is a 350 straight across. Let's do some sound bites, and let's show you the measurements of the neck. First of all, we're going to show you the measurements of the neck. We're going to set the M series black metal, and then we're going to show you the M1001. And you're going to see the M1001 a little bit thinner. This is the ultra thin. This is the thin. But you have a little bit more, about 20 thousandths more on the outsides of this. And then it gets a little asymmetrical, obviously, when you get to the 17th fret because it's thicker on this side than this side because of the way it goes into the body profile. So there's your measurements. Feel free to stop and compare and contrast, because it is kind of odd how they transfer from 1st fret to 12th fret to 17th fret. Now let's get into some sounds. I'm going to get to the most boring. I'm going to basically go straight through my little stiff, and we're going to compare a couple of just simple arpeggios, simple brush chords, the kind of things you might play. No effects at all, no nothing. We're going to go full humbucker. We're going to pull the single coil. This one doesn't pull the single coil. It's got a full gain ceramic, and then it goes to the second voicing. So we will compare this one's single coil to that one's second voicing, but I'll show you which ones are which. So we're just going to do simple stuff. But we're playing it mostly with dirt, right? So just a real quick, just an amp, no other junk on it, through my stiff. And then pull in the single coil if we want. So there you have the sounds. This pickup has a little bit more output. Now that may also be in part because we've got a 9-volt battery back here charging things. Let me tell you something else. If you leave this plugged in overnight, you come back to play it in the morning, it's going to go because the battery's going to be dead. The battery life on this is not great. So let's go to the discussion. At $1,399 or $1,099, which is better? Is this $300 more? I'm going to say absolutely no. First reason, I do not like the neck joint. Yes, this is the same neck joint as the M's of the Paul Miller ESP that everybody loves. It's the same neck joint as that, but I think this is superior. Got way more playability up in the upper frets, and you just don't have that giant hit of all the sharp edges and stuff in here. The 300 to 400 conical radius, I don't really notice that much difference. 300 is pretty flat, and 400 is very flat. I don't really notice a difference. Now, some of the real round to a little bit more flat, like I've got a hammer here that goes from 12 to 17. That's crazy. I can feel the difference there. This, I don't really see it. This pickup does have a lot more output. This pickup is a little bit better when you start doing crazy drop tunings. But I don't do that very much. I'll go to D, sometimes D flat. Being a 25/5 scale, I don't detune it down. I'm not going to try to play an A or any of that kind of stuff. That's what 7 strings and 8 strings and all that garbage are for. If you're looking for this guitar, you're probably not going to be playing jazz on it. You're going to be playing your classic rock, you're going to be playing your classic metal, your 6-string metal, and your shred stuff. These guitars are both great for that. Both of them have really nice stainless steel. I do have some stainless steel in this room that's not great. These are better quality stainless frets than some of the others I've seen. These all measure 57 to 58, so they're both the same frets. This has a little bit of fret sprout, 1 through 3. Not a big deal because they finish their frets way out to the edge, so you don't end up doing your... You have to pull really hard to get it to fall off, to have your fret fall off. That's a problem on some of the guitars that are more hand done. They tend to round them in, and they'll fall off your frets when you're trying to do vibrato and stuff. This finishes nice out to the corners, which I like. You don't tend to turn the volume knob down with your pinky because this one has a little bit of resistance. It's not one of those gain knobs that you're going to be playing along and go, where's my volume? Although I am going to move it. So I'll probably move it in the next week, and then I'll paint it and make it look nice. I do not like the gold. It looks great. It's wonderful. For some reason, gold plating doesn't last as long. Where your hand sits, the oxidization, it's going to decay through time, chipping, fading. You're probably going to need to be buying more gold parts. Now, I've not seen any of that yet. That's just been my experience on gold stuff. The black's going to live forever. I'm going to paint them both up, so it doesn't really matter. I hate both finishes because I don't like matte finishes, because anywhere where your finger touches, your arm touches, is going to polish. And so in a year or two, you're going to have a guitar that looks like Pinto Pete. It's going to have matte spots and polished spots, and it's all weirded out. I'd rather just go all polish, and that way the guitar is going to look the same in year 1 as it's going to look in the same as year 20. Or in some of these guitars, year 40, or not 40, 24. That one's about 26, 27 years old, and it looks like the day I painted it. Is it worth the money? No. I don't think it's worth the money at all. In fact, if they were the identical money, I would still take that one. The lumen lay dots, way better than just black dots. I do not need fret indicators on the fretboard. They are the same exact fretboard. Just this one has fret indicators, this one has none. Because it's got the lumen lay dots on the side and they're nice and big. And when you shine your light on them, they will shine and whew. Now, I've never been a good guitarist in a nice big band that's got our own lighting manager and stuff. And so I'll get on stage at these little terrible dives and I can't see a thing. To have lumen lay dots, fret indicators, whoa, how cool is that? To be able to see through your whole set and not have to go, and I can't, where's 12? And then the pickups. This is a little bit more output. Is it better output? I don't know. Just put about that much more gain to your amp on that one, and they sound really similar to me when I get into high dirt applications. My opinion, save your $300, get the black metal. If you're going to do something to it or relic it yourself or paint it yourself or just leave it. I think for the money, that's a better guitar. This guitar has been discontinued, but everybody's still got them. And you can get them. So when you get a B stock of this, they're about $950 to $1,000. B stock of this, they're like $700, $750, give or take. So again, even on B stocks and used, this is $300 less than this. I say buy this one all day long. You're going to like it better. At least I like it better. Hey, thanks for watching. Keep on rocking.